right, welcome back to another episode of Survival of the Fittest is the soup du jour. I'm Roberto Treviño. I'm still a chef, and I'm happy to say that because I tell you what I've been doing lately. I've been sort of like getting around, you know. I get around. I live in the Orlando area. I say that like, you know, because I live in the outskirts of Orlando, just south, and the really kind of like the almost sticks. You know, there's trees and lots of lakes, and I dig it. So, but I live in the Orlando area, and I've been getting around and going to different restaurants, checking out the different things going on. And I was recently in downtown Orlando. And I'm going to say it straight up, I love downtown Orlando. It's beautiful. It's cool. It's got great bars, some great bartenders. Talk about like cocktail culture. Just like downtown Orlando definitely is all that. And so I dig it, and and I said this straight up. I said there was some great restaurants downtown. And that's my point tonight. And it is night, by the way. So what's happened to downtown Orlando? That's my point. It's just like it's sad to see so many places closed. But with that comes opportunity. And this is what we're going to talk about tonight. What you need to look for. Are you ready? You can go into a place like downtown Orlando that has so many opportunities in the form of restaurants and bars that have unfortunately closed. Don't get me wrong. You never really want to like relish in somebody else's, bad fortune or failure. But as a business person, as a chef, as a restaurateur, as a culinarian, you're looking for that spot. You want that spot where you can do your food, where you can do your drinks, where you can just do your thing and share it with people and hope that they love it. And right now, I'd have to say downtown Orlando is ripe for young, for old, for anybody who is wanting to open a restaurant and really be on the ground stage of maybe kind of helping a restaurant sort of niche grow, where you have like a restaurant row, or where you have so many good chefs all cooking, where everyone is coming to eat. Now, I believe downtown has the locations. Hey, we're in Orlando. This is the land of make-believe, the magic, if you get my drift. Those restaurants are built and they're given a theme and they're sort of given this look. Well, in downtown Orlando, it's there kind of naturally, there's some, Church Street, are you kidding me? Church Street is spectacular. Like probably one of the most forgotten corners of downtown, but honestly, architecturally, historically, it is the absolute killer, the best part of town. And there's so many opportunities there right now. And if you are young, if you are willing, if you are older, if you are wiser, if you are good at what you do, I would say go to downtown Orlando and try to get yourself the best spot for the best price, because it's the time to do that. And you know what? As a restaurateur, as a chef, I'm always looking for a good deal. Come on. A good deal is about like most of it. We want a good deal. And there's good deals to be had. So I'd like to see downtown Orlando make a huge comeback. And you know what? People have been saying it for years. Oh, downtown Orlando's coming back. Oh, Church Street, since the Bob Snow days, I had a restaurant on Church Street that I absolutely love to this moment, even though it doesn't exist anymore and they kind of demolished it, whatever. But this building is the first brick building in all of Central Florida, built in 1846. Or was it? Yeah, I'm going to go with it. What a spectacular building. I was lucky enough to have a restaurant in there. And this in Florida, as anyone who lives in Florida knows, there's very few basements. There you could probably count them maybe, two hands, 10, 15, 20, whatever, in the entire state. And downtown Orlando has like maybe 4 of them. Well, I had one, and it was beautiful. It was so cool, and it's been there since the 1800s. And what can I say? It's like that's downtown Orlando. That's downtown Orlando. That is the magic, the sort of reality of what you can get your hands on or what you could find. And so I always say, definitely, if you're looking to open a restaurant, and I believe, when times are hardest, that's the time to do it. People need it, and we're lucky enough that in Florida, we're still going forward. Even though things are tough, I mean, hey, let's face it, 2020 is long gone, and it was, let's just say it straight up, it was a horrific time for us all. 2021 has already had its share of just unbelievable things. And I don't even want to get into it because it's like, who wants to get into the whole... Exactly. The politics, the mess, forget about it. It's not anything I want to even touch, so let's not. But 2021 has already kind of shown us a little bit. It's showing its boldness that it wants to, throw in our faces. So hold on, everybody. But I'm optimistic. I'm a believer that, people still want good food. They want to feel social. They want to be in social gatherings. And what a better place than a restaurant to have a great social gathering. And, to feel that community. You feel it in your neighborhoods, but to have that one restaurant that your neighborhood loves, that you can be that person to bring your neighborhood that, to become that, to go into a place like downtown Orlando and be one of the elements that brings it back culinarily. Because it's one thing to say like, oh, yeah, the bars are great. Oh, yeah, I work there. It's another thing to say like there's the best chefs in town have restaurants there. The best locations are there. Hey, and let's face it, let's put pressure on these landlords. We want better prices. Landlords, listen, be realistic. We're all living with it. We want better prices. We want better leases. We want better rent. We just want a better deal. And as a chef, I'm telling you, if it's not a good deal, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. That's the deal. So, it's time. It's time that a place like downtown Orlando really kind of pull it together, give these people who are looking to do great things an opportunity to do it. And in the long run, everyone wins. I'm a believer in synergy. When you can bring, one time in Old San Juan, we actually opened on the end of Fort Dulles Street. It was the absolute, end of the line for Old San Juan. You would literally pass these buildings on your way out of the old city to leave. And we built a restaurant there called the Parrot Club back in 96? Yeah, 1996. It's a long time ago. And people didn't expect it to do well because it was but we kind of triggered a complete restaurant movement on that street. Next thing you know, with one restaurant that we opened, 5 years down the line, there was probably 15 to 20 restaurants on that street. So Restaurant Row and that synergy that I'm talking about is essential. And I think downtown Orlando and Church Street in particular has that opportunity. First of all, because there's a bunch of locations available. Second of all, you should really demand a great rent or a great deal or great TI money. And anyone in the business knows that's tenant improvement money that your landlord will give you if you've got the cojones to do it right. And I think there's an opportunity there. So anyone who hears my voice and lives here in Orlando, and if you don't live here in Orlando, then bring your restaurant concept here. You know what? This is a food city. And I'm a believer. I'm a believer in feeding people. I'm a believer in creating great spaces, restaurant spaces for people to enjoy. and I think that that's where the opportunity is here. I mean, of course you can say like, oh, no, I want to be out in the suburbs and I want to have a great parking area. Of course, all those things are so important. And you know what? You'd probably be told that if you don't have that, you won't succeed. But then again, I'm still a believer in synergy and the talent that this city has and the talent that should work together to help build, to see a vision through. And I'm not saying I'm some kind of like Orlando visionary, but I'm a culinary visionary. And I'm a believer in great talent. And I'm a believer in people getting, building building restaurants near each other so that they can not be competition, but be a sort of, they help each other grow into something amazing. And this is what I'm talking about. So anybody out there who's looking to do something, downtown Orlando, Church Street, get a great rent, build a great restaurant, and succeed. And really, that's what it's all about. Now, I do have to tell you that, I have been enjoying my usual from Orlando Brewing, who I absolutely adore because they send me these kegs. And I end up after the podcast, keep drinking. And next thing you know, I'm chit-chatting all kinds of crazy stuff. And maybe, thank you to Orlando Brewing. You are the best. Here we go. Let me get a sip of this, all right? As usual, ice cold and wonderful. Thank you, John. Veteran-owned, Orlando Brewing, brewed here in the great state of Florida in Orlando. And I tell you what, I love it here. All right. Not only do we take beer seriously, we take cocktails seriously, we take food seriously, we take just life seriously. Oh, and by the way, we take soccer seriously. All right. This is a soccer town. And I love soccer. Football, goal. You know the story. All right. Well, we are definitely a soccer town. So Orlando City, bam, we like that. Of course, the Magic. We've been here forever. They make downtown look just that great. When you can say you have professional sports in downtown. And once again, I go back to Church Street. We got hockey. We got basketball. We've got football, soccer. We have, football's coming. Hey, take it easy, everybody. I know what you're saying, but it's football. We have professional sports here, and it makes it exciting. And, we're just a fun city with a lot to do. We got Lake Eola, which is amazing because, that fountain is so mid-century, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm talking crazy. I don't even know when it was built, but I'm going to just say it was so mid-century. It looks so 50s, so jet set, the Jetsons, I love that about Orlando. It's got a great history. Really does. It really does. And, the more you kind of get into it, you'll discover it. And I know if you live in Wichita, you're like, well, I don't want to hear any more about Orlando. But you know what's good about Orlando? Everybody comes here. This is a huge tourist industry that comes here. That's something to keep in mind. We do have the parks. We do have the sports. We do have the history. It's a must. So if you're listening to us, there's the Puerto Rico. And by the way, Orlando does happen to be like Puerto Rico's second city. So olvídate de eso. We're definitely, I like it here. It's a lot of fun. So it has that element as well. It has that super duper multicultural element as well. You have Asian parts of town with great Asian markets and great Asian restaurants. And they run the gamut. Latino restaurant, ni se diga, colombiano, mexicano, puertorriqueño, ni se, olvídate, de puertorriqueño ya tú sabes. It's the good life, all right? So, yeah, maybe I'm going on about Orlando a bit much, but I mean, it is what it is. And, we're here. So, chefs, restaurateurs, you've heard me. I've been kind of going on about it and on about downtown, but I like it. And I hope it comes back, and And of course, we got to get past certain things. I don't even want to mention it, but you know what we got to go. We got vaccines going. We got, we got all kinds of stuff going on. But it's a wonderful time to be alive. It's a wonderful time to be a chef. Sometimes chefs tell me like, "Hey, what can I do to do this?" Or how can I get more notice? And it's just like, you know what? In the end, I think, my publicist, Rick, says to me all the time, he says, "The celebrity chef is dead." And I go like, "What, dude? You have no idea." No, but you know what? Ultimately, he may be right, because it really comes back about the food. And you need to know who you're feeding. And you need to cook for them. And in the end, when they love you, and they will love you, if you're doing it well and you do it right and you do it from the heart, they will love you. Then we'll bring the celebrity chef back. We will insist, because our craft is worth that. It's worth the personality that each chef puts into their work. It's worth the effort that you put into your staff. It's worth the effort you put into the decor of your restaurant. It's worth the effort that you wake up every morning and you put in those 12 to 14-hour days, 6, 7, 30 days straight, whatever the case. It's worth it. It's a wonderful profession, and I absolutely love it. And I've been doing it for a long time now, and I still work as hard, and I'm still just as inspired as that moment in my life when I walked into the kitchen for, the first time, and I saw this golden feeling. I had this feeling of just greatness. A simple task, but I absolutely adored it. And I still feel that today, some 32 years later, 35 years later. Yeah. And it's amazing. So I really hope that if anybody who is listening to my podcast, to the survival of the fittest is indeed the soup du jour, I hope that my words tonight have inspired you to just do your thing. It doesn't have to be a big restaurant. It doesn't even have to be a restaurant. It can be, some kind of ghost kitchen. It can be your catering service. It can be whatever you do it well, and do it from your heart, and feed people, and work hard to bring the celebrity chef back. It didn't end when TV kind of became sort of yesteryear, with all these different networks that did all their food shows and what have you. But there's definitely different new platforms to continue to push your chefism. And I think that's what we need to do. Continue to look for new ways to inspire cooks and chefs to be excellent. Inspire restaurateurs to continue to open more restaurants so they can give chefs great kitchens to work in. And in the end, bring the celebrity chef back, baby. This is survival of the fittest, is the soup du jour. I'm Roberto Treviño. I'm still cooking, so come see me, and I'll see y'all soon. Mucho gusto siempre. Buen provecho a todo mundo. Puerto Rico, I love you. Orlando, I love you. I love you. Texas, New York, California, and anyone, including the subcontinent. We'll see you soon.